What was the argument about? Like, why did he want you to take the hat off?
Well, I bought that hat in Durango, Mexico, when I was doing a Western, right before we were doing the read-throughs for Kill Bill. And I started, just my hat, man. So I didn't have a plan for it, but I was wearing it to the read-throughs for Kill Bill. And Quentin comes up to me and he goes, you're not going to wear that hat. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, you're not wearing that hat in the movie. And I go, well, I wasn't really planning on it. He goes, I know, but every time you show up, you got the hat. And I go, well, that's because it's my hat. It wasn't a setup, And he says, no, but you're not going to wear it in the movie. And I said, well, I kind of want to now. Now that you're saying that, I think maybe I will wear it. And he goes, no. And so, anyway, like the next day, there I am in the hat, and he says, I can't now picture you without the hat. So you can wear it in the movie. And so I did, but then later on when we were shooting, after establishing the goddamn thing in the graveyard,
Yeah.
he wrote the scene where I have to take the hat off in the strip club. And him and Larry didn't tell me that he was going to say that on camera, that he was going to tell me, hey, why don't you take off that hat? And I didn't know that he was going to do that.
Improv.
Yeah, and so when I take that hat off, that was no acting for me because I didn't want to take the goddamn thing off, but I was trying to go with the scene.
Right.
And so I took it off, but
It motivated you.
it was a trick. They played a trick on me to make me take the hat off, which is brilliant. That's brilliant filmmaking.
Well, can I just compliment you really quickly? Because think about what those guys had to talk about before to figure that out, to do that to you. No, but it just means your acting is so what it is, but it's intense, Michael. As an actor, you're a very focused, intense guy when you do your thing.
Larry told me later on, he said that Quentin went to his trailer and he said, you got to make Madsen take off that hat. I don't know how you're going to do it, but just make him take that hat off.
I could just see Quentin in his trailer going,
How are we going to get Michael to take that hat off? And they planned it. Him and Larry planned it. And then they sprung it on me, right when I'm standing there with the thing on. I had to react to it, and I didn't know what was going on.
Mike, you just came off of Reservoir Dogs, like this huge indie, like the biggest movie of the year, indie-wise, right?
Yeah.
Makes a name for Quentin, makes a name for the cast involved. And when does the script of Free Willy come your way?
Oh, God, that was way before that. No, I did Free Willy way before. Well, I don't know. Like, what year was Free Willy? Reservoir Dogs was 92.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs was 92. Free Willy was 93.
Okay, well, see, I got that backwards then. I would have thought it was the other way around. When I got the script for Free Willy, I didn't understand why they wanted me for the dad. And I remember I was really worried. And I went to Simon Windsor, who was the director of it. And I said, Simon, man, I said, why the did you cast me as his father? And he goes, well, Michael, I don't know, mate, So, and I thought there must be something in the script that they hadn't told me about. Like I would do something really bad at some point. I was going to hurt the kid, or I was going to cut one of Willie.
Had to be there.
I was going to cut Willie's fin or something. I was convinced that they had tricked me to be the father by not telling me that I was going to do some dastardly thing. And he goes, no, Michael, no. We just think you'd be a great father figure because, we needed the father to have a little edge. And I go, oh, okay. I have a little edge. Yeah.
A little Free Willy edge.
And who's the guy? Richard Donner. Who was Richard Donner's wife?
Laura Schuler.
Schuler Donner was the associate producer on Free Willy. And I remember I asked her, because I went to meet everybody before they did it. And I said, I was talking to Simon, and I'm just kind of curious, I'm so curious why you guys have me as the father in the film. And she goes, well, what did he say? And I said, well, he told me that they wanted somebody with an edge. And she goes, well, you certainly have that. And I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. I said, really? I started imagining, why do I have an edge? What does that mean, I have an edge? And right away I thought, well, it must be because of Reservoir Dogs, right? It's because I did that thing with the cop in the chair. And I said, so there's nothing in there you didn't have me read, right? And she goes, well, no, Michael. I said, oh, I'm not going to hurt Willy, am I? And she goes, no. And I said, I don't want any bad scenes with the kid. I don't want to hurt kids. And she goes, no, Michael, my God. Nothing like that's going to happen. And I said, okay, all right. So this should be fun. Then I'll be the good guy. I'll be the good father. Yeah.
I gotta clean my freaking eyes. Oh my Lord, that's
yeah, it's a true story. Yeah.
So
it was great.
I gotta ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
At that time, you had to be considering all kinds of offers.
Not really.
Okay. After Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, after that. But you see, when Dogs came out, it was such an independent film, and it wasn't really released in a lot of theaters.
Right.
And not a lot of people saw it until Pulp Fiction came out.
Right.
Then all of a sudden,
it triggered that.
Quentin's first movie became this thing that everybody wanted to talk about, Reservoir Dogs. Wow. Because up to then, it was just an independent film that a few people thought was pretty cool in Sundance and in Toronto and in a couple of different places. People were talking about it, but it wasn't getting me any work at all. It wasn't like that. I was pumping gas in Beverly Hills at the Union 76. I mean, I was an episodic TV actor. And I thought Dogs was
interesting, but that's interesting for people watching the show to understand. Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, two totally, obviously different movies.
Yeah.
Two totally different characters for you.
Yeah.
Two totally different visions for Quentin.
Yeah.
And it's wild to think in the retrospect that he's Quentin, right? He's a genius.
Well, nobody knew that then. I mean, when I got the script for that thing, they told me not to do it. They said,
Reservoir.
Yeah, when I got Reservoir Dogs.
Your agents told you not to do it?
Yeah. They told me that it was they said, listen, nobody knows this guy Quentin. Nobody's ever heard of him. He's never made a film before. There's nobody in it, and there's no money, Michael, okay? Just so you know, going in, nobody's getting paid, and there's nobody in it. And I was like, wow. I kind of like it, though. I mean, I really like the writing. I never read anything like this. It's so cool, these guys.
But how wonderful is it that instinct inside of you, what if you'd listened, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I often wonder that. And just to make another comment about the whole thing, well, God, I don't know if I should. Got to be careful on these things.
We can bleep it out. Go ahead.
Wanted Quentin to cut the torture scene from Reservoir Dogs. In fact, he threatened him was not going to release Reservoir Dogs unless they took out Michael Madsen with the ear cutting scene. Insisted that the movie would lose its female audience with that scene. And Quentin, God bless him, Quentin said, no, I put Michael in this movie. I put him in that scene, and I'm going to leave it in the movie.
Absolutely.
And you see, if he hadn't stood up for me that way, who knows if I'd even be sitting here talking to you.
Amen.
I mean, I'd still be pumping gas, probably.
Yeah, but that's.
But God bless him. I mean, but that's the way he is. And he stood up for me. He stood up for his material. But here's this big shot, big wig, who was going to just say, I don't want that in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he had the power.
He had the power to have done away with me. Yeah.
So I could go on and on and on, Michael, about the films and the performances. I'm not blowing smoke. I could really, people love you because you're generationally a handful of actors comes along that are qualified. I'm not trying to blow smoke. I'm just
no. I feel no. It's
but in your generation, you're one of the cats that you can count on two hands. That's a blessing. You know what I mean?
No,
the respect that the fans have is incredible. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, I appreciate it so much. I mean, I never know what to say about something like that.